2, 3, 4. Brian Daboll's out the door. Come on, get down. Come on, get down. Anyone hear any good news today? It's almost as good as buying a new Harley. Or an old Harley. Knock, knock. Who's there? Not Joe Schoen. No, that's next. Not Brian Daboll. So the fat boy, the fat wonder. 7-2, 2-5-1, 6-11, 3-14, and now another 3-win season has got his ass thrown out the door. Oh, dear Lord. It almost, and I do use, it's a big almost. I do use the word almost. It almost restores my faith in giantdom. There's only one thing left. There's only one iota. There's one constant stench still in that building. And that's Joe fucking Schoen. You fired Brian Daboll because he couldn't work with the garbage on the roster, which the garbage was provided by the garbage man, which is his new name. It's Joe Garbage Schoen. And you couldn't build anything around him because of the fact that the garbage man was here. Oh, dear Lord, Mr. Jackson, I forgot about this. I hope we see this. I don't think the cameras are rolling yet. This is a Hard Knocks moment. Oh my God. Anytime the Giants are on Hard Knocks, we just look horrid. And there's going to be no exception to that rule. We are going to look stupid as usual, but ding dong, the Daboll's gone. Which old Daboll? The fat old Daboll. Ding dong, Brian Daboll's gone. I don't relish in people getting fired because, if you've ever been fired before, it sucks. I don't relish in that. What I do relish in is when incompetence is finally rewarded with a swift kick to the ass out the door. I told everyone, you should not bring this moron back. You cannot go 7-2, 2-5-1, 6-11, 3-14. You can't and still retain your job. But no. The giantdom is, yes, we can. It was reminded to me on like 30 separate text message trains that I said that Brian Daboll would be fired before Thanksgiving. I had to go back and look, and I did say that. So I guess that was very apropos as well. But here's my fear. Here's my fear. My fear is this. You promote Mike Kafka. Something happens where Mike Kafka somehow gets a win or some kind of shit. Something happens with Mike Kafka. And then the next thing we know, we are stuck. We were going to Antonio Pierce this dunderhead. And then we're going to be stuck with like 8 games or 9 games or 10 games of Kafka in 2026 before we shit can him. But we have an opportunity. We have a chance to wipe the slate clean. We have a chance to take the Fabuloso, probably the yellow one, and throw it all over the building and disinfect it and bring in someone anew. Bring in someone competent. But here's the problem. Who with any competency or pedigree is going to look at Joe Schoen, look at the Joe Schoen roster and go, you know what? This seems like a good place to be. No. We need to keep getting the broom and sweeping it. Here, John Merrill. Okay, you take your right hand, keep it up here, because you probably never swept anything in your life. Take your right hand, put it up here, and this is gonna be a push-up. You take your left hand, put it down, and you're gonna go like this. And there's a dustpan. And then there's a big fucking garbage can. And then you take Joe Schoen, you put him in the dustpan, then you put him in the big fucking garbage can. And then you wheel the trash out. USO, I haven't seen you in a while. What's up, brother? Timmy, Do you want the Giants to be their next head coach? I want one of these qualified candidates, Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur, and Sean McVay. I want you to go to Green Bay. I want you to bring a billy club. I want you to knock Matt LaFleur in the head, and then I want you to kidnap him and make him be the Giant head coach. That, of course, is me being facetious. I'm not renting a panel van as we speak. Matt LaFleur's not leaving. Kyle Shanahan's not leaving. McVay could be an opportunity. You need to do something bold. We've said, how many times we said on this channel before, be bold and mighty forces will come to your aid. Joe Schoen is got to be gone. And John Mara, and maybe sometimes when you have cancer, you gain clarity. Now, we hope to God John Mara beats his cancer, and he's got the money to do it. But sometimes you gain, I've talked to people that have had cancer, and they say you gain clarity in your life. Maybe this is his miracle, the Meadowlands moment, where we dump everyone and go find a competent general manager and then bring in a competent head. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it a million times. You get a president of football operations. You allow him to hire the head coach, and you allow him and the head coach, hire the general manager. I apologize. Then you allow him and the general manager to hire the head coach, build a continuum, figure out a way to cultivate talent, hold on to talent, get a guy that knows math. That's it. How about a guy that knows math? How about a guy that owns a calculator so we can figure out how to not be in salary cap purgatory every single year?
That's not the way you're supposed to do it, Dad. They want us to do it.
I don't know that way. Why would they change math? Math is math.
Okay,
Math
Dad.
is math.
They never changed math. Math is the same. The only problem is I think the calculators in the building in MetLife are missing sevens. Because that's the only way I can configure this. I configure this, that this is what's happening. What did Zach text? The Giants say Joe Schoen will lead the search for a new head coach, so he's staying. Adam Schefter. Oh, Joe Schoen. Oh, then I quit. All right, I quit. It was funny, though, because I thought I was going to stay. Because I thought that if they fired Joe Schoen, then I would stay. But if you're going to retain the moron as Shane, I'm gonna have to leave again. I'm done. Zach. Why, Zach? This was a happy moment, and you gotta go fuck it up, Zach. What is that? Someone else sent me a post. Giants 2-4. Who's see? What else? Let's see. Is there any news? Really? They're gonna do that? They're gonna do that to us? They are going to keep Joe Schoen. That is just stupidity wrapped in a riddle. Hopefully Mara was just on some meds. Not surprised. Let's see. Joe Schoen remains in position as general manager, will lead the search for a new head coach. He feels like Jonah assembled a good young nucleus of talent, and we look forward to development. Unfortunately, the results over the we don't have a nucleus of talent. We have a nucleus of stupidity. Way to go, Mara. I was in a good mood. Now you fucked it up. All right, I'm still leaving. I thought I was going to stay, but I can't handle Joe Schoen. Brian Daboll was bad enough. I cannot stand Joe fucking Schoen. Go take his bedazzled wife and get the fuck out of here. Because he is the reason why we're always in salary cap purgatory. He is the reason why we don't have talent. He is the reason why he missed on almost an entire draft class. And then we're going to say that Jackson Dart's going to be his savior. Jackson Dart can't stay out of the fucking medical tent. And this is like, what, the sixth time he's been in the tent for a concussion? And the coaching staff has told him you need to slide. And he's like, well, that's not my game. Is your game sitting your ass on the bench? Well, Adam Schefter just fucked it up for everyone. Get out of the pool. Adam Schefter fucked it up. I got to read the statement because maybe I read it wrong. Maybe letters and reading are not my forte. Okay, here we go. Statement here. Joe Schoen remains in a position as general manager and will lead the search for a new head coach. We feel Joe has assembled a good nucleus of young talent. We look forward to its development. Unfortunately, over the results of the last 3 years have been what of any of us want. We take full you don't take full responsibility because you're not firing the motherfucker that bought the groceries. These are difficult decisions. John and I do not take them lightly, says Tish. But we feel like this is the right thing moving forward and will allow it. No, you're not moving forward. I literally thought I was going to stay. I literally thought I was staying. Well, I quit. T-Brad, all the people I was texting before, I still fucking quit. Because I cannot deal with another year of Joe Schoen. I literally cannot deal with another year of Joe Schoen. I will fucking vomit. I will vomit dazzling things that you plug on yourself. That's how much I hate fucking Joe Schoen. Ask me, says a buzz. What changed today? Nada. You know, it was some people reminded me that I said he'd be fired before Thanksgiving. Brian Daboll. I forgot about that. But to keep it's keeping the insanity. I was in such a good mood. I even made my coffee Irish. Let's get to I love Darth Vader. I like Kyle Loren. Bill Belichick needs to be our new GM and head C. Let's Rex Ryan be our new DC. Consider it done, sir. Zach says Russell Wilson comes into the game and the running game gets a bit better. Dart has been evaluated for 5 concussions this season. OG Knockout says, what's good, Tim? Joe Schoen has to go next. Well, evidently, according to Tish and them, they're keeping Joe Schoen. It's amazing to me that you fired the chef, but you kept the guy that's the shopper for the shitty grocery with the shitty groceries. He goes out and buys this. He gets the expired tomatoes. He picked Brian Daboll. He's a lame duck GM, and he is going to lead the search. I think I'm smoking crack. I did not read that right. This is what I'm going with. I did not read that right. I am smoking crack, and I'm not smoking crack, but I did not read that right. That's my problem. I'm gonna go with that because that makes zero fucking sense, unless it's a lie. But then why would you even come out and why wouldn't you say we're gonna have to reevaluate Joe Schoen? See, that's what you should have said. We're gonna need to I was so happy that we're gonna have to reevaluate Joe Schoen's position in the offseason. We look forward to moving into a new direction, but you're going to allow the moron who's on a 1-year deal. Do not tell me you're extending Joe Schoen. Do not, Giant fans, I feel bad for you. I'm evidently a Packer fan now, but I feel bad for you, Giant fans. Don't forget to go to online Big Blue Packer Nation. It's going to be the new show. It's funny. We just signed a new agreement for fuck your sensitivity, get off my lawn, the mad realms of a Gen X. So we just signed a new agreement. So we're going to go full board with that show. And it was funny though, because I signed it today and I was thinking to myself, well, maybe we can just, maybe we can, do a few things and maybe we can change it out a little bit. Maybe I can work with the agreement and, continue to do Giant stuff. No, that's just not right. Because here we go. Here's the statement. Joe Schoen remains in his position as general manager and will lead the search for a new head coach. We feel Joe Schoen's the motherfucker that went out and looked at 4,000 quarterbacks for 3 years. Didn't take any of them. We like Joe. We like Joe Schoen. We like what Joe has assembled as good young nucleus. We look forward to its development, said Mayor. Unfortunately, the results of the last 3 years have not been what we wanted because of the fucking you signed Paulson Adebo 54-36 guarantee coming off a broken leg when everyone said he probably should only get a 2-year $20 million with the first 10 years, first $10 million guaranteed. You signed him. You went out and got Holland, who's coming off one of the worst seasons in reference to a safety and a serendipitous drop in his play. You went out and gave him money. to fix the defense. You won the drafted Banks. You drafted Tyler Nubin, who was god-awful. You drafted Drew Phillips, who was god-awful. You assembled the talent on the team, and you get to stay. Oh. I was on the Mighty FanDuel. Of course, this show is brought to you by themightyfanduel.com. FanDuel, #1 sportsbook in the land. I don't know what the odds were for FanDuel getting fired for Brian Daboll, but FanDuel, #1 sports bet, give new customers bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets when you win in the NFL. I love the casino games. New players gets 500 spins, get up to $1,000 back in cash bonuses. Let's take a look at the FanDuel for the Giants on Sunday against the Green Bay Packers. Oh, the Giants are 7.5-point dogs at home to Green Bay. I thought that would be 47.5. I would take the Packers and give the points. I won a bunch on FanDuel taking the points of the Giants, but now I just can't anymore. Adam Schefter said Joe Schoen is staying. We're fucked. Yes, King's Preem, you are correct. Dart has already been evaluated 4 times for concussions. What do we got here? Dev says, until nepotism leaves the organization, Chris Mara, Tim McDonald, Kevin Abrams, I have little hope for the organization. You're right. I still think that the entire organization calculators are missing 7s. That is the only explanation to always be in salary cap purgatory. I was in such a good move. The Dark Friend says, guys, if you hire Bill Belichick, then his girlfriend will be running our team, not him. Let's stop. Nobody with any common sense will look at the Giants roster, will look at the Giants situation, will look at a lame duck general manager unless you extend him and say, I really want to go there. Do you think Matt LaFleur would leave Green Bay? You think McVay would leave LA for that? Do you think even Lane Kiffin would leave college for that? No, that's stupid. And then you have your star running back coming off a major injury, your star wide receiver who hasn't had surgery yet coming off a major injury, and you have a quarterback to me that is still a question mark because he is still running a college offense. Everyone likes to look at what happens in the first 2 drives and then the last 8 minutes, but nobody wants to look at the middle of the game. Except for us. OG Knockout says, I hope they get rid of Joe Schoen at the end of the season because he sucks all the way. His organization picks suck and the free agency sucks and his salary cap sucks. It's clear as day Joan has become buddy-buddy with the Nepo boys and can't be fired. Unreal, he still has a job. Yeah, you're right. Joe Schoen picking Brian Daboll was done badly. The Giants are getting sued. Joe Schoen surviving this will be the next level of clown show, and I thought we were already the biggest joke. I really thought for a minute, just for a minute, that we weren't going to be a clown show. I thought for a minute, just a minute, that we were going to sit here and do something special. And my hopes were dashed. I'm going to be at the Green Bay. I am going to the Green Bay game. So that's going to be fun because I'm doing the salute to service flag ceremony. And I'm going to make sure I'm not the runner on the flag. I'm on the holder. Because the holder of the flag, you're on the away team sidelines. And I want to talk to Malik Willis. So I'm going to wear my Green Bay Malik Willis jersey. So stay tuned for that fun. And then I'm doing the event after that. But this is it's a joke. But you know what? Joe's kid is more qualified than Joe. You're right. Thomas says Joe Schoen must have been blackmailed over the Mara for them to even consider keeping him. Greeny Green says, how can you trust Joe Schoen to pick your next head coach? What the fuck? You are again going to have to go out and pick a head coach that is willing to take Jackson Dart on. That's it. This is the Daniel Jones fiasco all over again. And here is my biggest worry. And I should have bigger worries in life, but I don't right now. Here's my biggest worry. Kafka comes in, doesn't do terrible, doesn't do great. Let's say he wins 3 games. Giants finish 6 wins and 11 losses. They look at it and say, well, we've made progress under Kafka. We need to keep him. That's my biggest concern. I don't always agree with Stephen A. Smith, especially when he tries to talk, then looked at very challenged hitting mitts, but he was right in calling him Joe Shane. I agree with that, Chris. I agree with that. OG Nike says Joe Shane is a cocky and he hasn't accomplished anything. Joe Shane, here's the thing. You talk about the 20-40-1 with Brian Daboll, but that's Joe Shane's record as well. We got to jump to the super chat because all super chats, of course, go to the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Clean house. What's up, Leslie? Clean house. Hope you're well, Tim. Yeah, Leslie, where you been? Where you been hiding? I haven't seen you in a while. Well, if you missed it, everyone just stop. I'm going to talk to Leslie for a second. If you missed it, Joe Shane remains in his position as general manager and will lead the search for a new head coach. We feel like Joe has assembled a good young talent, a nucleus of talent, and we look forward to its development. Says, no, unfortunately, the results of the past 3 years have not been what we have wanted. We take full responsibility for those results and look forward to a kind of success our fans can expect. Hey, Mara, take my season tickets and shove them up your ass. Okay? Because you lost a fan that's been following this team since 76. You lost a fan that sits there in the bitter cold. That game was New Year's Eve, -2 degrees. There I am in the Seattle game with James Williams. You got me there. You got me taking fans with Big Dom, all over the place. Inside the locker room, having a good old time. On the field again with James, sipping mimosas, and now you push me to go fuck your sensitivity, the mad ramblings of a Gen Xer, which is now officially up and running, so make sure everyone goes and watches and subscribes to that. But John Mara, Steve Tisch, you lost me. You lost me. I agree Shane Bowen should be fired too. His defense is absolutely putrid, but who on the staff will do it? That's the thing with Shane Bowen. If you fire Shane Bowen, you're going to promote Andre Patterson? Andre Patterson's off defense line has been putrid. And then everyone's claiming failure, and I love it because I kept saying Andre Patterson to me is not a good coach. He's like, well, look, he had Danielle Hunter and Dexter Lawrence. Well, Danielle Hunter's doing just fine without him and has been doing just fine without him for a while, and Dexter Lawrence is a shell of himself. You probably freaking whiffed. You whiffed on Abdul Carter. He is not reaching bust territory. He is a bust, and he is going to be a bust. People that don't like it, I don't care. He is going to be a bust. I've watched him play over and over again. I've watched him try to penetrate.
That's what she said.
That offensive line, and he gets stood up like a rag doll. His speed is and this is what I kept telling people. His speed can be equalized because you are not playing against Arkansas Valley State, who's got an offensive lineman, two of them on both sides of the tackle, that are both selling insurance for Progressive now. Dart runs like he's trying to prove he's tough to someone. He does prove like that. He does. He's got to slide, or he's got to last like 2 years. Pete Thoreau says, is there any chance that if we fire Joe at the end of the season, Mara goes back on his word? It's like Kafka loses out and then looks bad. No, they're going to keep him. Telling me if you come out that early with that, you're keeping the guy. I almost unretired. Came that close. Work has been busy. Well, I appreciate you came on. Good young talent. Yeah, right. Slider, you know it too. Neighbors did have he did have surgery now because he didn't have surgery last week. Let's see. Joe two times says, well, hey, Joe two times. I haven't seen you in a while either. Was it odd that the report came out on Daboll getting fired after Denver game and him getting fired the next day? No, I don't think it was odd. I think that I think the Denver report was erroneous, to be perfectly honest. I think that was just bullshit. I think that was writer bullshit. I just think that the logical way to have done this, and this is how stupid the Giants are. The logical way to have done this would be to fire him during the bye week, because then you could allow Mike Kafka to kind of oversee everything and start pushing forward. But instead, you fire him before the Green Bay game where you're probably starting Russell Wilson. Wow, you're a shit show. Tim, there's no way we ends up with under 6 wins under Kafka. You need to shore up what you're drinking in the mug so that we can say that too. It's Irish whiskey. It's Irish whiskey at 3:10 on a Monday. Saints preserve you. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. That made my Monday. It made my Monday even better, but then it got screwed up. John will keep him because his ego hates to admit that he's wrong. Happy birthday. You're right. Happy birthday. Semper Fidelis. Happy birthday, United States Marines. I forgot. Oh, that's tomorrow though. Tomorrow is the on the halls of Montezuma, out to the shores of Tripoli. BP says, Tim, don't worry. The Giants are not winning 6 games this season. They're lucky to win 4. I still think they're going to win 5. I think you can take the Raider game. And I think if Dallas doesn't need the last game of the season, and let's say Dallas is in the playoffs, they're just going to play scrubs. Chris, for the love of MMA, says, the only draft that Joe Shane got that right, and by his way, considering success would be 2025. All else was misses and overvaluing players. I'm laughing too. Whoever bought tickets to the circus, I'm sorry for. I've been buying season tickets for years. No more. No more. That's done. That's done and over. I wouldn't trust Joe Shane with kids. Hell no. Fire him too. Andre Patterson. I agree. You need to clean house. You need to get rid of everyone. Clean house. I've said it again. Fire them all. Have an AI program called Plays. It couldn't be any worse. I should do that. Let's see. I'd rather take a shot in the dark with a brand new DC. I can't. I want certified NFL caliber talent in these positions at OC, at DC. The whole Wink Martindale thing was just a fiasco. We told the story on this channel about what actually happened in the building because we knew someone that was in the building when this happened. And the ego of Brian Daboll back then, which wasn't that long ago, was so fucking out of control that for him to do what he did to Wink, and we're not going to get into that again, but that was just beyond undercutting your defensive coordinator. Because the fact that he does not like to be challenged, that's why he has the vanilla bean known as Mike Kafka, who has no personality as his offensive coordinator. And even though when Kafka came in and was terrible at being an offensive coordinator for years, he still kept him. That says something right there. Let's see here. We've seen 4 years of KT. Carter is a clone. Yeah, he's not a very good clone. RBW says, I'm selling my tickets for the rest of the year. I'm going to go reconsider re-upping for... Oh, I'm not re-upping next year. I've already taken my auto-renew off. And at the end of the season, I'm writing a letter to my ticket agent and saying, goodbye. Sorry, goodbye. Carter has been blocked by a tight end one-on-one. He got blown up by a tight end. You can't run past everyone in this league. And when you don't have the strength to be a stalwart player on that line, that's a problem. And then when you have 3 undersized defensive ends and a defensive tackle who's not good anymore at stopping the run, you have teams doing what they do, they run for 270 yards a game. And we think that Douglas says, I find it funny that Daboll was fired before Bowen. That happens when you try to anchor yourself to a sinking ship because we are egotistical to admit they were wrong. Fuck Brian Daboll. Chris said, so you fire Brian Daboll, you're keeping Shane and Bowen. What a fucking joke. Mara's clue was full. I think Bowen's gone. But he's not going to be gone now. He'll be gone by the end of the year. And I think Bowen is gone for the simple reason that if you have Shane Bowen, you can't fire Brian Daboll, promote Kafka. Kafka's either going to call the plays or someone else in the organization is going to be promoted to OC. So you can't then fire the DC and then try to find someone internally who was never, because there's really no one on the staff that's ever been a defense coordinator before, and then bring that person up and then be the DC when you have a new OC and a new head coach. That is just that is beyond a recipe for disaster. We got to go to Big Don and Funky Town with the super sticker, because we know we all love super stickers. It's Funky Town, also known as Big Don, and all super stickers and all whatever go to the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. So thank you as always, Big Don. You are the man. I might have to try to play some Helldiver tonight. Let's see. I trust Joe Schoen with his kids. Hell no. Clean house. We got that one. I'd rather take a shot in the dark with a brand new DC. I can't do that. Let's see. I'm selling my tickets. Was blocked. Here we go. I find it funny. No, I got that one before Bowen. So you fire Bowen. Keep Shane. Yeah, I got that one also. I think that's Massey. Massey with a big old super chat. Also, let's go to the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Finally happened. Marisol, they are closing your channel and wants you to stay the new regime. No. Sorry. You want to know why, Massey? Here you go. Joe Schoen will remain in his position as the general manager and will lead the search for a new head coach. We feel like Joe Schoen has assembled a good young nucleus of talent, and we look forward to the development, says Mara. Unfortunately, the results over the last few years have been what we any of us want. We take full responsibility for those. I love how you take full responsibility for the results, but the guy that actually brought in the talent, you don't fire. So is that really taking full responsibility? This is the standard giant sacrificial lamb. James Stein says, Tim dropped a link. I need to come on and rant, please. I got to do this in a little bit. Semper Fidelis. You got to love the Marines, man. You have to love the Marines. We're a Marine family. So, we always, we always support the Corps. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battles in the land and on the sea. First to fight for right and freedom and to keep your honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines. Trust me, that's like a bedtime story in this house. That's a bedtime story in here. No, tomorrow is Veterans Day. Yes, that's right. Tomorrow is Veterans Day. Let's see. Fire everyone, including everyone who's close to Mara. Seriously, and all that's not going to happen. Petro says, who is going to want to come here where Joe Schoen will start the hot seat? Giant. This is the thing, that Petro, this is what's starting to scare me right now. Because the more the euphoria is wearing off, the more realism is dropping on me. You might have to extend Joe Schoen. Because what head coach is going to want to work for a lame duck general manager? Because if you're hired by that head coach and then you get fired, unless you take over as president of football operations or unless you take over as a general manager as well, like a Mike McCarthy, why would you want this job? You have no defensive talent. Your one key piece is Dexter Lawrence, and he hasn't been good in 3 years. You have a secondary that is putrid. You have a safety that's slower than molasses. You have corners that are great at tackling people, but the problem is they give up 18-yard gains before they make the tackle. You have a defensive line that gets run through like Swiss cheese. You have an offensive line that's actually performed pretty well this season, blocking pass-wise, but is terrible run blocking. John Runyon, that was the biggest thing in Green Bay. They said about John Runyon was the fact that he was a good pass blocking guard, but he was terrible at run blocking. And don't pull him because of the fact that he had a tendency to trip over his own feet. Oh, this is funny. Yes, it does. I can send. Yes, it does. I can send a link today. This is funny. Let's see if this works out. I'm on green. The mighty Amon Green. It looks like he's going to make an appearance on Thursday. Wait till that works. Well, that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting because it's not like I didn't say anything about it. Not like I said so many nice things about it. The news in Montana reads, Ali Sherman, our next head coach. I'm told, boy, I'm old. Wink and Carter might be a different. No, Wink. I know you like Abdul Carter, Greg. I know you do. But this is a kid that keeps pulling offers. I've never seen a kid again have so much, be taken so high and have no ability to get to the quarterback. He did it again in Chicago. He pulled another 0-4. No tackles, no sacks, no assists, no tackles for loss, no quarterback hits, nothing. He pulled his this is, you know what's funny? This is his second 0 for the season. And when you play 75 to 80% of the snaps, how can you not even fall into an assist? This kid is scheduled to have 0.9 sacks for the entire season. You're 10 games in. You have 22 tackles, only 11 solo, 1 tackle for a loss, only 8 quarterback hits, and a half a sack. And sometimes you don't even get near the quarterback. And then to watch Caleb Williams hit the Jets and blow by Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns and Abdul Carter, it was disgusting. Douglas say, I'm actually more excited now for the Giants games I'm going to at the Foxborough. I don't want to look at Brian Daboll's stupid face. It's good. You're going to have to look at Mike Kafka's stupid face. Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, and Carter, all speed, no power. You're right. You're 100% right. Watch Carter. He plays half the field. It's for two way to stop to watch. We blasted Deontay Banks. This is a good point, Todd. We blasted Deontay Banks for lack of effort. And there has been plenty of times where Deontay Banks, especially last year, did not show effort. We didn't blast Bobby Okereke in that one Eagle game when the play went right past him and he stopped running. I've watched, to your point, Abdul Carter just stop if the play isn't near him. And he wanted to wear 56, where Lawrence Taylor would run. I still have it in my brain. Him in MetLife, 86, him coming from the other side of the field to run down Ruben Mays and tackle him from behind. Abdul Carter stops. And I think people need to look that on film. I hope Bowen is gone. Please, no, Bowen's going to be here. You're not going to break up the continuity. What's up, Big Mike? So Joe has blown 3 top 10 picks. What makes Merritt believe Joe is the guy? I don't know. And we've gone through this so many times. I don't really like repeating this, but we're going to go through it one more time. One more time. Darren Beaver's gone. McKeithen gone. DJ Davidson will be gone next year. McFadden you're probably going to keep. Dane Belton should be gone. Daniel Bellinger should be gone. You're going to keep Cordell Flott. Jonathan Azuda should be gone. Wandale Robinson, you're going to overpay. Evan Neal will be gone, and you're going to get one more year out of Kayvon Thibodeau. So there's 3 guys out of 12. The next draft, Owens gone. Riley's going to be gone. Hawkins gone. Eric Gray gone. Hyatt gone. JMS should be gone, and Deontay Banks is probably going to be gone. So you've lost the entire 2023 class. Massey, special team player. Tyrone Tracy. Well, Tyrone Tracy is not what we thought he was. Theo Johnson, all he does is he catches touchdowns, which is great. Phillips should be gone. Phillips is god-awful. Tyler Newman's gone, and your best pick out of that draft, Malik Neighbors, is coming off an ACL. Corey Black. I love how he's got an 87.5 Pro Football Focus tackle rating. Yeah, too bad his pass protection, its pass defense rating is like 8. Oh my God. I keep telling people you have to wait a couple of years before you judge a draft class. So I'm not going to say, we don't know how to hold the fucking edge. That's not a job. Damien says the season is over. Now no one gives us a fuck no more. Fire everyone, bench the starters. I agree. I hope we just trade first round picks so we can't fuck it up this year. That's a great point. I keep wanting to trade things for assets, but if you're giving them to Joe Schoen to pick players, that's like a death sentence. Strider says, Tim, do you see Burns try around with the speed and get blocked 3? I love the spin move. I love the spin move with Brian Burns, and the offensive lineman just went, nope. Just pushed him. I literally just pushed him to the ground. I just love it. He's like, spin. Nope. So that was the end of that. I won't blame you if you quit creating giant content, but damn, I'm sure we'll all miss you on. Oh yeah, I'm done now. I literally thought if they were going to fire Joe Schoen, I was going to stay. If they fired Joe Schoen, I was staying. I was actually contemplating talking. Hey, listen, we got 145 people watching in this one section. Can we get more than 45 likes, please? We should have 145 likes. I think HBO is paying Merritt to keep Shane instead of Hard Knocks. I agree. My questions: where's your power, dude? There isn't. Where's your power? You are the only giant content creator I follow, and for good reason. Well, Chris, that's because you're an intelligent young man, dashing as well, and we've seen you multiple times, and Chris always comes out to events, and when we do things, he's gone to the games with us. I'm going to miss you, Chris. In the New York state of mind, Mr. Jackson says, I have a feeling Joe is gone at the end of the season. This team, I will doubt. No, they're not going to fire Joe Schoen. For them to literally come out and say they are not firing Joe Schoen, they're not firing Joe Schoen. So, because they'll look even stupider if you fire Joe Schoen, because you can't come out and give this rounding applause and say, "Yep, we're gonna get rid of him."
But that's okay. Remember, there are no stupid questions, just stupid people.
And that's not to you, Isaiah. That's to John Mara. Joe Schoen talks with Mike Tomlin, but I decided it wasn't fit because he didn't believe Jackson Dart was our guy. Oh yeah, that was like Mike Tomlin's not coming here. Big L says, I just asked Alexa, when will the Giants be good again? Alexa, I can't answer that. Sounds like John Mara. I said this the day that we signed Dan Jones to that contract, that the Giants would not be good again until 2027. Because I said if he has a bad year, they're going to bring him back for another year. And if he flames out that year, they're not going to draft a quarterback to 2025. And then you're going to need at least 2 years to build a team around that quarterback. So 2027 was my projection for the Giants being good again. I may have to, now that you're bringing in another head coach, I may have to push that out to 2028. I have to think about that. Preach, says Big Greg. Big Mike Lee says, when the Army and Navy took upon the heaven's gates, they will find it guarded by the United States Marines. That's the core. Oh, happy days, says Cutthroat. And of course, all super chats go to the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Yeah, it's happy days until we learned about Joe Schoen. But thank you, Cutthroat. I appreciate that. Strider says, Abdul Carter is not a defensive rookie of the year candidate. Take his name out and give it zero for life for 2 games. Seriously? I don't understand how he is the defensive rookie of the year candidate. The defensive rookie class must be god awful, because you got a guy with 22 tackles, half a sack, and they're basing his winning it off pressures, and he's only got 8 quarterback hits in 10 games. He's only touched a quarterback 9 times. Well, 8.5 times. He's got a half a sack. He's only touched a quarterback 8.5 times.
That's what she said.
In 10 games. And to your point, Slider, you literally watch him stop, and he doesn't continue the play. Big Chris says, can't believe Mara actually made that statement about the roster. I just said, Mara is a full dart, will ultimately fade into the sunset when we continue as we are officially the Jets. Here's the problem. Here's the problem with Jackson Dart. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't seen an NFL quarterback out of Jackson Dart yet. And I'm not saying he's not going to be one. I've seen a kid that is running the Ole Miss offense. I see a kid who seems to be more comfortable at times running than he does throwing the ball. We've shown the charts that the majority of his passes are from -2 to 8 yards down the field. I've seen a kid who, for some refusal, does not want to slide and has gone into concussion protocol, 6 times now? Not a protocol, but has gone into 10 for concussion 6 times. I've seen a kid who cannot throw accurately 35 plus yards. He is exciting. He is dynamic, but those abilities fade in your sophomore season, which is why they refer to it as the sophomore slump. I see the league, and the league already has, quickly adjusting to Jackson Dart. The Bears are not a great defense. Ben Johnson is doing this with fucking mirrors in Chicago. The Bears, to me, are not a good team. This was one of the games I had penciled the Giants winning. So you watch this, and it's the same thing when Daniel Jones was a rookie. Saquon Barkley had his best games during Daniel Jones's rookie season. He had his only 100-yard games when Eli Manning was under center, because Eli Manning was making the proper adjustments for the running game. And to Zach's point, the running game actually picked up when Jackson Dart left. And I love the people, and we're going to call it idiot fangirl, who was like, it's like, well, as soon as who didn't know we were going to lose once Jackson Dart went out? We lost all those other games when Jackson Dart was in. Oh, dear Lord. Let me run on down to the super chat because I saw Big Don with the funky town. All super chats go to Children's Hospital Philadelphia. Oh, this mofo has been unconscious protocol 4 times. You're right. You were right. 3rd overall pick. Great pick. I said this before. He's Bryce Huff. And I'm going to say it again. And every once in a while, I'm going to pop in with it. When I leave, every once in a while, I'm going to pop in with a short. And I'm just going to make fun of Abdul Carter. And the fact that he's Bryce. He's a Bryce Huff wannabe. Sliders says, Fireside Giants call him potential candidate for Defensive Rookie of the Year. I commented and said Defensive Rookie of the Year. What? What year? He's got 22 tackles, 11 solo, 8 quarterback hits, and a half a sack. Doesn't play the run well. Doesn't always show effort. Said it before. Go back and Google it. He's Andre Bruce. But Andre Bruce was bigger, faster, and stronger and could play the run. At least the Knicks are playing well. Yeah, the Knicks looked good the other night. And who gets a damn quarterback from Duke? We got a basketball player from Duke in lacrosse. You're right. Let's see here. I just want to say Carter is bad, but it's an excuse. Mara had a bad ownership long before the development cancer, and it won't affect the Giants unless he turns over control. No, we don't want him to turn over control, because then we're going to go to Chris Mara. And Chris Mara is beyond kludgy. His horse racing career is what I would refer to as, sometimes you look at, sometimes it's these guys. Hey, oh yeah, I work in sanitation. So I'm just saying. Mr. Bruce says, fire the coach, but not the GM. Doesn't sound familiar. Yeah, it doesn't sound like Gettleman. Tim, you need to file a lawsuit. We need to file a lawsuit against Giants for causing pain and suffering, mental health, by forcing people into depressions as a reason of the lawsuit. Oh, yeah. Also lying to the fans. I don't care. I'm done. Okay, Tim, here we go now. You're right. Tell us the replacements you would have in mind. I like that, Glenn. You were right. Now yeah. I said he was going to be fired before Thanksgiving. Once again, I was told I was a moron. My candidates for head coach, here's the problem I have the candidates with head coach. And I see the speed question. I want to get to that too. Unless, and this is really boggling my mind. Unless you extend Joe Schoen, what coach with any cachet would want to come here with a lame duck general manager? What coach? Think about that for a minute. What coach would want to come here? with a lame duck GM, and you have to be 100% sold that Jackson Dart, who was Brian Daboll's pick, is the quarterback that you can run in your system. I do not want Lane Kiffin anywhere near this building. Lane Kiffin is a mercenary. Lane Kiffin has left a wreckage everywhere he has gone, every stop he has ever made outside of Ole Miss. He has left a wreckage. Going back to USC, going back to the bad days in Oakland, going back to Florida Atlantic. He is just not a good, Lane Kiffin is just not a good guy. And because he worked with Daniel Jones, I keep calling him Daniel Jones because I keep thinking it's going to be Daniel Jones. He keep thinking because he worked with Jackson Dart that he can do something. This is you are not playing Southern Georgia. You're going to play the Cowboys. You're going to play the Eagles. You're going to play Green Bay Packers. You're going to be Detroit Lions. I just can't. Why did we even draft the so-called fastest, aka wide receiver Jalen Hine, and don't use him? Because he can't run routes. There's always been question about his route running ability going back to Tennessee, but I thought he was actually a pretty good route runner. I was wrong on that one too. Tim, we failed Swift on 4th and 2 on a linebackers. Failed to tackle him because Swift hit the linebackers before he could do anything. Floyd had a chance, and the shoulder tackle looked like the other way. Yeah. That shoulder tackle shit's just got to go. I hate that. Tuprek Tech says there's still time and Joe will get fired soon. No, we've already played it we've already shown it a million times. I feel like Joe can assemble a good young nucleus of talent. We look forward to its development. Unfortunately, the results of the last 3 years have not been what any of us wanted, says John Mara. Joe Schoen remains in his position as general manager and lead the search for a new head coach. Is not for Giant fans, that is truly a Swift kick in the balls. Seriously. Let's see here. My point, until Mara sells the team or hires a good director of operations to run the team, nothing will change. Mara is the problem. Evans says we need an experienced head coach. Maybe Clint Kubiak. You mean Mike Kubiak? Let's see here. I think Dart likes it rough.
That's what she said.
Mara's been bad forever. It took the NFL to push young Papa Mara because they were so bad. Now here we go. No, that's not true. That's not the story. That's not the story of what happened with Wellington Mara. We've told the story a million times. Wellington Mara got sick to his stomach after the Miracle of the Meadowlands, went to Pete Rozelle and said, can you recommend a good young general manager that we can hire to take over everything? And I'm stepping away. The league never told him to do anything. The great Tim said on quarterback hits, how many hits translate to wins and turnovers? Nope, young. Russ sucks, but he doesn't. But he plays no snap as D this year. The D took 2 wins from Russ. Yeah, I know. How about them Knicks? The Knicks are awesome. Big Prime says, salute to Big Tim. Chris says, like I said, Dart will fade and the shit will go on. Maybe as good in 2020. Mr. Taz says, you got rid of the tumor in the locker room, but you still need the treatment to the front office leukemia. That's sad, but it's true. Slider says, let me get this straight. Dart is a rookie of 4 concussions. What the fuck is the record? And Tim, I apologize comparing him to the Bears quarterback Jim McMahon because he won a freaking Super Bowl. Yeah, when you compared him to Jim McMahon, I wasn't upset about it. I just thought it didn't make sense because McMahon was tough as nails. He was just brittle as a board that was left out in the sun for 48 years. And he did win it. He won a Super Bowl. He keeps giving me Daniel Jones part 2. I get that vibe sometimes as well. I don't want to get that vibe, but I get that vibe sometimes as well. Don't cry, don't raise your eyes. Giants tackling is hideous. Asmi says, Mara is like a fucking broken record, keeps firing the coaches, keeping the GM, then firing the GM 2 years later. I give up. I'm with you. I give up. I literally thought I was going to stay. I did. I literally thought I was going to stay. But then they just when I think I'm out, they keep pulling me back in. And then they push me back out again. How many likes do we have? I don't know why I care about the likes. We're supposed to care about the likes. Let's see here. 61 likes. Come on, guys. Can we get up to 100 likes today? I'm leaving in February. I'm leaving the Monday after the Super Bowl, and this is what you're going to do to me? Come on. I literally thought I was staying.
That's when I thought I was out. They pulled me back in.
Then I fell back out again. Giants tackling is horrendous. Horrendous is being nice. Slider says Joe can assemble a pack of Uncrustables, but he can't assemble a group of grown-ass men. Slider says I'll be on my break in 35 minutes. Well, maybe we'll have people on in like 35 minutes. Damon says I wish I could go to work and fuck shit up every week and still get paid. To protect, my brother says Joe is the main problem. Yes, you're right. Todd says, yeah, give Joe another decade. He's bound to draft another good player. Only a decade. Wow, okay. Best coach is Brian Flores from Miami. Flores is not coming here. Flores is the defense coordinator at the Minnesota Vikings. If you want a coach that doesn't have experience, the only coach that I can think of, coordinator, that is, if you want a coach that without experience, without coaching experience, I would still look at Eric Bieniemy. I would still look at Eric Bieniemy because I do think he's got a long tenure in the NFL. He's got a winning pedigree. But if I was him, I would not want this to be my first head coaching job. Oh, what do we got here? Of course, David. Oh, Super Chats go to the Philadelphia Children's Hospital. Is it the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia? I'm sorry. Thank you again. Oh, where are we at here? Glenn says the best coach is Brian Flores from Miami, but the problem is he's suing the Giants. So he can't. He's still suing the Giants. We can't bring in a guy that's suing our team. I would like that because I like Brian Flores. I thought you should have hired Brian. I did a whole video about hiring Brian Flores over Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll. Joe Schoen nose must be looking pretty brown. Shocked that he's going to stay. I'm stunned that he's going to stay. Let's see. Why says you could only hope Shane is fired at the end of the season because Odell wasn't available to trade. Greg says that was great, lol. I said the same thing, Slider. Blackbird said, I knew you would love when we went up 20-10 and the Bears were driving. Oh, when the Bears were driving, listen, I was sitting there, and I know I'm not like fangirl who doesn't know anything about football. I was sitting there. Jackson Dart was in the game. We were up 20-10. I said, we're going to fucking lose. I sat there and said to the Dallas game that we were going to lose. I was building thumbnails about we were up, I forgot how much, against the Denver Broncos, and I was building thumbnails in the fourth quarter saying that we were going to lose. It had nothing to do with Jackson Dart being out. It had nothing to do with it had everything to do with the head coach. Bring in Rex Ryan. You just knew the Giants were going to give the game. You did. You watched it and you're like, they're going to give this shit away. I was literally watching the Bronco game with 8 minutes left, and I was building a thumbnail that said record. I forgot what the thumbnail was, but I built that thumbnail while the game was still on and the Giants were still up. That's how much I knew. Kafka's even worse than Daboll. This is what I don't understand about Kafka. Kafka has been a god-awful offensive coordinator since day one with no experience, and now we're promoting him to head coach. Do I live in fucking bizarro world or what? I'm going to say dirty pictures. Coach without experience, how about a ball boy? I could be head coach. Why not? Mr. Taz, the Eagle fan. Mr. Taz, the Eagle fan says Joe Shane's only option is the flame out coordinator who can be a better coach job elsewhere, a la Josh McDaniels or Matt Patricia. I'm actually worried that they are going to go with a failed retread coach. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm actually concerned about that. Bring in Rex Ryan. Why not? Why not? Mr. Philosopher says Jerry Reese hired McAdoo, Gettleman hired Joe Judge, and so on and so on and so on. Gettleman also hired Pat Shermer. Tim, you're awesome. Fangirl's a joke. I know. I know that. Oh, because why? I know football. Like a lot of the majority of the content creators that don't. And then when I say shit, it's not because I'm typing in the chat GPT and getting an answer. Don't worry. Don't worry, guys. I don't know if we're gonna do it today, but should we do it today? Because I don't know who we should do.
Let's see what we can fuck with next.
Of course, that is our new segment. Let's see who we can fuck with next. But I don't have anyone today. The Giants got a break. Yes, the Giants got a lot of breaks yesterday. They did. Slider says, Tim, whoever invented leading with the shoulder tackle, looking away or down is stupid. Hire a coach who says if you shoulder tackle, you miss $100,000 fine or something. I can't stand the shit. I say this over and over again, especially with the shoulder tackle. Going back to Pop Warner, the first thing they teach you, first thing on defense, is you don't lead with your helmet. You lead with your shoulder. You take your shoulder, you put it into the ball carrier, you put it into the receiver. Once you put your shoulder in at the same time, what you were doing, you're wrapping. And you're wrapping. You're not gonna wrap in like this, because I got some coaches that say, do it if you want to wrap like this. To me, that was a bad way to do it because you just break your fingers. And I had the broken fingers to prove it. And then once you wrap, you lift and drive. You ask Trey Hawkins. He hasn't been seen since that shoulder tackle in his first start. It is a cop out because a lot of people don't want to hit. You have to have a special mindset as a defensive player in some regards. Same thing with, and that's the thing. And that special teams player, you have to have this mentality that you don't care that you're just going to run down the field. Because literally, especially when back in the day when you were the wedge breaker, your whole job was to run 100 miles an hour down the field and bust that wedge. And defense is the same way. You have to have a commitment to tackling. You have to be committed and use proper and sound technique to not only limit the ball carrier, but limit the opportunity for the ball carrier to get extra yards. And you have to have commitment in that. And that commitment is you have to sacrifice your body. And sometimes and this is what I tell people, and this is what people that I hate that are giant content creators that never played the game, because you don't get it. And get the commitment to sacrifice yourself. Because it hurts. There are times that you tackle someone properly and it fucking hurts. But you have to be willing to understand and take the pain and go through it and do it the right way to help your team and limit the ability for someone to gain yards. And that's what the Giants don't do. That's what a lot of league does. You know, a head coach scores when he lies about knowing his quarterback got knocked out of a game of play. You're right. Fangirl's a joke. Why Joe Schoen is still here? Yeah, probably. When Kafka was interviewing for the head coaching position, did he get a second? No, he never got a second interview because he was part of the Rooney Rule. And I'm not trying to be racist, because I think the Rooney Rule is stupid, because I don't think you should just have to, I don't think you should under the pretext of interviewing something when you have no intention of hiring that person because of the color of their skin. You're not hiring because you're not going to hire them because of the color of skin, but you have to hire them. You have to interview them because of their color of skin, but you've already got your candidate. Most of these general managers and owners already know who their candidate is, but you're going to go through the process of having interviewing people. I think it's an insult to the people that get interviewed for the Rooney Rule, because how many of those people actually get jobs? Maybe Kafka has a suit that fits him at his first press conference. Oh God, I forgot about the Macadoo. Mike Lee says the Giants and Joe announced the next head coach of the Giants will be the ghost of Vince Lombardi. Hey-oh. Dart needs to learn to slide. Yes. Is John Gruden the only experienced head coach that would believe in Dart? Here's the thing. I love John Gruden. 100%. For many different reasons. He was a failure in Oakland and Vegas. The whole email scandal, we talked about that was just bullshit. He was the scapegoat. He was the sacrificial lamb, because everything that is said in that emails, I heard daily in NFL locker rooms. Like I said it before, we talked about the Marines' 250-year birthday tomorrow. You heard that's mountain talk. That's locker room talk. It's probably changed from when it was in the early 2000s, because, like I said, you would make a sailor and a Marine blush with the kind of conversations you heard. But that was mountain talk. That's just the way people talk in the locker room. Doesn't mean you mean it. Doesn't mean you condone it. It's just that's the culture. That's the manly culture that you live in. And I think he was just a sacrificial lamb for the NFL. But let's be honest, he had a failed stop in Oakland. Outside of the big season in Tampa, he had, when I was there, he went 6-10. No, he went 7-9, then 6-10, and almost got fired. So, I mean, and he's not old, but he's got a record. I think his total record is 122 and 116. I think it is. I'm not saying the game has passed him by. I'm just saying at 62 years old, he's probably got other things to think of. He's got other things, because after the Super Bowl, think about it. After the Super Bowl, John Gruden 7-9, 5-11, 11-5, 4-12, 9-7, 9-7, 4-12, 7-9, 8-8, 3-2. His Tampa record was 57-55. Okay, he's 2 games over 500. No good coach are coming here until the Mara sells. Only coach who has a lot to prove or really wants a job. Oh, what's up? The Admiral says New York City toasts with the new mayor. Brennan says, I don't understand how Joe Schoen still has a job. Slider says it's not lead with your shoulder and do a muscle print this froze for a magazine. Big Greg says, Tim, that game would have been out of control if Caleb wasn't missing some of those throws and the wide receivers hadn't dropped those balls. Misses and drops are part of the game. We say that about the Giants too. Dart is not the answer. Fans, I only open and admit when they are right. Dart is going to flame out fast, and I'm worried that's going to be happening. I'm not going to be here to see it. Mike Lee says, Giants tackling like NBA, load management, no position or willingness to play hurt makes the bones crush and hit. You're right. The hip drop tackle rules is one of the worst. Yeah, the hip drop tackle is basically a tackle. We've talked about that. It's basically a fucking tackle. Well, that's all right. I'm going to put the link in the chat here because I want to hear from people. But let's make it short, guys. I don't know how many people are going to want to come on, but let's make it short. I'm going to put the link in the chat. So make sure you have your comments. Make sure you have your astute comments. And come on, give me your thought process. Let's see what happens. Dart is Jones 2.0. End of story. Todd says, running roll just made people look racist. He kind of did. Big Greg says, why is Kafka so respected and regarded around the league? I don't see what he has done for the team. I don't know. And if he's so respected around the league, you don't really see any people saying, hey, Giants, can I interview him? Can we give him a second interview? Kafka is well respected around the league. Career backup, hasn't done anything I'll note as an OC. Because he is an Andy Reid protege. You're right. You're right, Zach. You're right. Well, let's see. Kavash says, John Gruden won a Super Bowl with Tony Dungy's team. Well, and then what's his name actually made the Super Bowl with John Gruden's team because they did nothing after that. Who is texting me now? Believe. What did I do now? What did I do wrong now? Evidently, people don't like it when you make fun of people that are on your own network. I don't know why. I don't know why they don't like that stuff. Great, thanks. Oh, great. Okay, so we're gonna have a Mod Green on. That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun. Danny says, "Fuck yeah." The main bozo is out, but the main bozo is still here. Let's see. My fault. You're right. Zacatech says Tim will quit when the Giants will. Tim will quit when the Giants fire Joe Schoen. Listen, if they fire Joe Schoen, I stay. I've already said that you fire Joe Schoen, then it gets interesting. Then it gets interesting to want to talk about Giant content and be part of Giant content. But if you keep Joe Schoen, you are just doubling down on stupid. And the Giants are so apropos at doing that. It's unbelievable. Where do we go, my lovely? I want to know. Don't keep me waiting. Who are these people? Who are these people subscribing? Why are you people subscribing? What is wrong with you people? I said, I don't want other subscribers, and people are subscribing. Oh, God. It was funny, though, because when I thought they were going to fire Joe Schoen, I said to, I was talking to a bunch of people, and I was like, you know, it's funny. I said, I got to figure out how to get back to 400 or 500 subscribers I lost. For insulting people if I was going to stay. Well, I don't have to worry about that anymore. Let's see. So in other words, Tim, according to his record, John Gruden was an average coach who won one Super Bowl, not much else. You are what your record says you are. Yes, 100%. And I love John Gruden. I think John Gruden is a coach of men. But look at the Raiders as well. 8-8, 8-8, 12-4, 10-6. And then he got traded over to Tampa. And then I said 12-4, 7-9, 5-11, 11-5, 4-12, 9-7, 9-7, 4-12, 7-9, 8-8, 3-2. 1, 2, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He had 6 winning seasons in 15. That's what you have to look at with John Gruden. 15 years, he had 6 winning seasons. Every morning I walk to the mine. He was 6'6" and weighed 249, kind of broad in shoulders and the narrow in the hips, and everyone knew you never gave no lip to Big Don. Big Bad Don.
I heard my name.
Where are you driving to? Work?
Home for once. I know. It's been a great day, Tim. It's been a great day.
It was a great day.
First, the greatest head coach you've ever had, because he could take worthless quarterbacks and make them even better. He just got let go. I finally asked.
Hold on 1 second. Big Greg, I see you in the chat. I'm going to get to you after Don. Go ahead, Big Greg. What you? But yeah, you got the greatest head coach that we ever had. The greatest head coach that never was.
Hey, he could take any quarterback and make them, like Josh Allen
or Tommy DeVito.
We don't talk about Tommy DeVito for certain reasons. That actually is close to my heart. So
the 315 or
315. Yes. And I asked this hottie out, and she said okay. So I even got a date.
Oh,
so it's been a great day.
There you go. Where you going?
I don't know yet. I have a week to find out.
A week?
I have a week to find out.
You're giving her time to back out.
No. So I know. Tim, it's been a while. Okay, I got the foot in the door. That's all that matters. Sometimes you just need a foot. And anyway, Tim. But on the football, this is the thing I'm so lost in. What was it? 3 years ago? 3 years ago, when Joe Schoen came in, we were ecstatic that we took a certain person from the Eagles, and yet he cast him aside like he's a nobody.
Yep. Brandon Brown.
And I'm sitting here like, we don't need to find a GM. We literally have an assistant GM that we took from the Eagles because he might have actually been in the hand of a mastermind of helping create that team, or he's been able to learn. And that's why you bring the man on. And then you want to ignore him and one of the biggest free agency goofs we've had, and it continues.
And it continues. It just continues over and over again, Don. That's all it does.
It does. That was it. I'm just talking about that.
No, but I gotta show you. No, don't go anywhere yet because I gotta show you this. I gotta show you this. I don't know if you can see this, but I gotta show you this. This is what your girl's got to wear on the date.
I don't even know if I am in Texas land. She might be a Cowboy or Texan fan, so I don't know. I gotta see.
Well, she better be, because I don't want to see her in that. But Big Don, you got to seal the deal, brother. Come on, man. You don't let anybody wait. This isn't hell diving.
Wow.
Freedom isn't free.
Wow. You ain't lying. You ain't lying. It ain't free. All right, Big Tim. I'll let you know the updates. Hopefully, I'll see you online. We'll take on some bugs or some
Are you
squids.
working? You're not working tonight?
Same time, but usually you get off before I have to go to work anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump on tonight.
All right, man. Let me know. We can take some stuff out.
All right, man. I'll text you later. Big Greg, I'm also going to bring in OGR Sports at the same time.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
No, Greg can't hear me. Greg, I think that's on your end. Hello, Greg. Greg, we lost Greg. I gotta bring in this because this is a rarity on this show. Three white guys walk in a room. James, I want to give you your opportunity to. You wanted to say something? Go for it.
Here's what I gotta say. They was trying. Marriages can't do anything right. The guy can't clean house. He can't run a football team to save his life. And the Giants fans, well, we're basically getting the shaft every chance it happens. And I fully understand why you've given up as a fan. I'm talking on a video. So I totally understand why you're leaving Giants content. Because the Giants have fallen to such a point that they're not worth covering.
Nope.
They're not worth rooting for.
Nope.
And
there's gonna be a yep there somewhere, I hope.
Matter of fact, in my view, I think the Giants fans should seek legal representation and sue not only the Giants but the NFL for allowing this to happen.
It's just a game, man. It's just a game. It's just a game. It's not any worse when James Williams yelling for Jamie.
When you spend your hard-earned money to watch the game, and when you buy the merch, spend the money on the season tickets, it's hard-earned money.
No,
and
it is. You're right.
These guys up there in the ivory tower, so to speak, they don't seem to care about people like you and me who spend that money. I haven't spent money on Giants gear.
No, I haven't either.
10 years ago. So, I mean, it's not worth it. They're not worth it.
It's not.
I feel sorry for the players because the players are the ones, some of them, like a Dort, like a Steph. These are rookies who are now going to have to learn a whole new system. You know what I mean? And I don't even know if the new head coach is going to keep Dort. Dort might even be cut because
he's not going to get cut. He's not going to get cut. He's got a 5-year deal almost. He's not getting cut. He's going to be here for at least 4 years.
He's got a 5-year deal, but how many years did Jones have?
5 years, and they kept him here for 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how did that work out for him?
Oh, it worked out terrible.
So,
but we're not talking about Jonesboro. Mr. Stein, I got to let you joke because I got a bunch of people that want to come on. So I do appreciate you dropping in. I appreciate you giving me your thought. I got to get to Big Greg's. I was talking to Greg earlier. OGR, I'm going to get to you as well. Big Greg, I love the shirt.
Thanks, man. And that's our identity. Hot pink.
Hot pink. Well, actually, it's more like it's more like hot steam and shit. But yeah, we'll go with hot pink.
Coochie pink.
Come on, Greg. Tell me something good. I was in a good mood until I read the statement. Until I read the John Mara statement.
I have not read John Mara. I didn't know.
Well, here we go. Just for OGR Sports, breaking news. Everyone else that's been watching for 2 hours, just bear with us because it's all about OGR. John Mara Joe Schoen remains in his position as general manager. We will lead the search for a new head coach. We feel that Joe has assembled a good young nucleus of talent, and we look forward to its development. Mara said, unfortunately, the results over the past 3 years have not been what we have wanted. We take full responsibility for the results and look forward to the kind of success our fans expect. It is a difficult decision that John and I do not take lightly, says Tish.
That's depressing.
I was in a good mood.
This is ridiculous.
I was literally in a good mood till that.
Sorry, Greg, to interrupt, but
No,
he's
go ahead,
repeating the same. He's repeating the same mistake he made with Pat Shermer
And Gettleman.
and Gettleman. He's
And Jerry
literally
Reese.
doing it again. He doesn't learn from history.
No. And Andy
They're
Robicelli.
going to repeat it. You better hope that Dart is this miracle worker because he's going to need it. Because I'd argue Joe Schoen is actually even worse than Brian Daboll.
I don't know about that one, man. I don't know about that one because
I mean, at the end of the day, you put the
He did
GM,
draft-
it puts the talent on the field. Yeah, the
he
coach
did
has
draft
input.
Malik Neighbors. He did re-sign all Gettleman guys. That's all I got.
Bro, look, Malik Neighbors is a no-brainer pick, right?
Yeah,
That's like,
true. But no one can screw up 5 and 7 because he's a genius.
yeah, exactly. So, like Evan Neal, where is he? He's like on a milk carton somewhere. Like Thibodeau is a
2.5
joke.
sacks in 10 games, and it's the best season according to certain Giant fans, it's the best season he has had in 4 years.
Carter's looking like underwhelming.
Carter looks like a bust. Let's just say it.
Man,
And
you
that
think so?
and OGR as a Penn State guy, Penn State fan, who always gave me that great stat that was 81 tackles with some guy named Parsons was during his freshman year, and he didn't even start a game. And in 2 seasons, Abdul Carter as an off-the-ball linebacker, he didn't even have the same amount of tackles.
And his draft's underwhelming. We have 14 million in cash in cap space next year. 14 million.
Because we keep pushing out contracts again. Because
And
we
you're not
don't
gonna
know,
fire
we
this
don't
guy.
understand. We don't understand going to Howie in Philadelphia and say, "Hey, listen, can you teach us how to run the cap?"
And
Just-
can I
Just for fun.
point? I'm sorry, Tim.
No, go ahead.
Can I point one thing out?
Sure.
To kind of go off of Greg's point. You know what he's going to do next year. He is going to backload every contract he can. He's going to push. He's going to try and get as much cap space, and he's going to blow it all because it's a man who's handicapped, who's going to try and save his job. So he's going to go out there and spend in free agency.
But
he will overpay.
Here's
and
my
set the
thing though, Greg. I mean, here's my thing, Greg and OG. Here's my big question to both of you. You're a head coach, or you're a wannabe head coach, or maybe you're an OC. And the Giants come to offer you a job. Is it more or less attractive to take a job when you know the general manager is a lame duck general manager?
See, Tim, here's where I'm going to kind of push back on that. He's not going to, unless John Mara essentially is going to hold his hand, or in this case, Tisch, because it seems like Tisch is making more of the moves because of the John sickness. Unless they're going to put a handicap on Joe Schoen and who he can pick, it's going to be his friend.
Right. But this is what I'm saying, though. In general, ownership is not going to let a lame duck general manager draft and pick another head coach. I guarantee you, if this is truly the case, what they're doing with Joe Schoen, there is an extension. And maybe it's a 2-year extension, but there is an extension in the works for Joe Schoen.
But Tim, Mara was on the record saying, if I don't see improvement, I'm going to be very upset next year, and there will be changes. Pretty much in a nutshell, right?
And they got rid of Brian Daboll today.
Daboll, like, and I'm going to revert back to OGR said, this is Shane's ingredients, like that Daboll's cooking with, right? They're all bad ingredients to spoil.
Yeah, that's what I was saying I said an hour ago. You let Joe Schoen buy all the groceries, but he bought rancid groceries, and then you give him to Brian Daboll and said, "Hey, cook these up." And Brian Daboll, not being a good cook, still gave everyone food poisoning.
And I think Brian Daboll was overrated with the Josh Allen. I can make Josh Allen a great fucking quarterback. It's like
true.
That's like a superhuman. So, like what you say, like he's like a once out of is a generational player. I don't know what we do from here. Would you go with Brady?
Josh Allen got better since Brian
Brady
Daboll left and has won his first NFL MVP since Brian Daboll left.
Indeed.
And Daniel Jones, how much he is starting to revert back to Daniel Jones with 7 turnovers in 4 quarters is a better quarterback in Indianapolis, allegedly, I don't see it, than he was with Brian Daboll. So how is the quarterback whisper all of a sudden not whispering very well?
You know how stupid Daboll is. Like, you see when Russ came in, right? He's trying to run the same offense that he runs with Dart, and like you have to have a sequence of plays that's specifically for Russ, right? Like that fits Russ's like the way he plays quarterback, and he's still trying to run the same offense that he runs with Dart, and Russ is not Dart, you know, and you see that, right?
No, I see that. I see that 100%. And like I said, it just Blackbird. The game is Sunday. The game is not Monday. The game is Sunday at 1:00. Just so you know. And who's texting me? People are blowing me up.
Do you blame them?
Can once the budget is over. Okay, trying to meet tonight. You know what? Why are people telling Dom can't come on because he's working? And that's who's texting me 1,000 times.
But Tim, would you double dip into the Buffalo Bills organization and get Brady as the head coach?
No.
I don't think so.
It's a waste of talent.
I want a certified, bona fide NFL head coach. That's what I want. I want
2 years
a guy
from
that's
now,
done it
after Joe Schoen fails.
I want, but this is the thing: a certified bona fide head coach is not coming here with a lame duck general manager, unless there is some caveat that says when we fire Joe Schoen, you are going to then be in charge of all football operations.
Yeah,
they may. I mean, depending on how Mike Kafka does, I mean, they may just go.
No, I'm scared of that. I'm scared of this is going to be an Antonio Pierce situation. I'm definitely afraid of that. That Kafka is going to win like 3 games. And they're going to say, well, we're going to keep Mike Kafka for the rest of the season because it's the continuity that Jackson Dart needs. Oh, I'm scared of that. That scares the bejesus out of me.
It does and it doesn't, because what we want is we want to reset, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, do I want to see Mike Kafka? No, I don't. But if that means I get to a reset sooner and Joe Schoen, you know, has a horrible year and the Giants have another top 5 pick next year, you can't justify keeping Joe Schoen. And Mike Kafka, we've given you how many games? You know, because he's going to coach what? How many games are left in the season right now?
Mara and Tish always talk about consistency, which is why we didn't fire Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll last year. They always say you can't keep hiring and firing head coaches and general managers every 2 years. So, you know, if Kafka gets the job, he's here for a minimum of 2 to 3 seasons.
You know, these two should have been fired last year. They shouldn't have drafted the players. Why, if you're married, prevent the inevitable when you're going to fire Joe Schoen next year?
That's the thing. And that's exactly why I'm telling everyone right now. I'm using my omnipotent powers that I have. Joe Schoen is getting a 2-year extension.
There's no way, Tim. I would eat bat shit if they do that.
Didn't I tell you that Brian Daboll would be fired before Thanksgiving?
You did say that. You called it, Tim.
As long as you eat the bat shit out of the guano bowl, that's double different.
and T. Brad and I called the Giants not winning more than 3 games.
See, I still think they win 5. You have to think they're going to beat the Raiders. The Raiders are we're bad, but the Raiders are god awful. And that Dallas game, unless Dallas needs that for any type of playoff contention, it's going to be our garbage starters against our garbage scrubs.
You know, but Dallas has Jerry Jones, and they like to compete. That's one thing what we don't do. They compete. At least you could say they go out there and they fight, right?
Oh no, I've seen Dallas give up I've seen Dallas act like custard.
But Dallas has
the last game they lost, they acted like custard.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I've seen them be like, "We're surrounded. We're not fighting. We're not fighting this."
Fuck Dallas. But like,
no, I agree.
But you know, the Dallas is what, 3 and something.
Yeah, and they made all these trades. They actually did stuff that we just sat there and twiddled our thumbs. Jace Card Sports Card says, "Would you take Mike Tomlin?" I want to take Mike Tomlin in a minute.
Just not with
Well,
Joe Schoen.
just not with Joe Schoen. The question would be, would Mike Tomlin want to come here with Joe Schoen? This is what I'm saying. You are not. This is what I'm telling you. I'm telling you guys now. Calling it 4/16 on the 10th of November. Joe Schoen is getting a 2-year extension.
Mike Kafka might be the only coach that would coach for Joe Schoen.
That's what I'm saying. You look at this. If you're Lane Kiffin, yeah, your guy is Jackson Dart. But would you want your second NFL coaching stint to be with the Giants in this roster?
Lane Kiffin is not. I mean, obviously,
No,
to be a coach, you need to be intelligent. But some people that are intelligent don't make the best decisions for themselves. I could see Lane Kiffin coming.
I can't see Lane Kiffin coming here.
I could.
Lane Kiffin's got a gig in Ole Miss. Plus, he's got like 3 or 4 years left on that Ole Miss contract.
Yeah, but they're willing to pony up more than what Ole Miss is paying. Money.
Yeah, but I believe in this because Ole Miss got smart after the Florida Atlantic, the USC fiasco, the Tennessee fiasco. There's a caveat or a buyout on the contract. So he would have to get a shit ton of money from the Giants to buy out the Ole Miss contract.
Lane Kiffin is offensive coordinator in the NFL. He's not a head coach.
He's not a head coach. But think about this. If you were Mike Tomlin, would you want to come work for Joe Schoen?
No.
If you were Mike McCarthy, would you want to come and work for Joe Schoen?
Those guys.
Wait, no, we're not. Just yes or no. This is just yes or no answer.
No.
If you were Bill Belichick, would you want to come work for Joe Schoen?
No.
If you were Matt LaFleur, would you want to leave Green Bay to come to the Giants and work for Joe Schoen?
Hell no.
If you were John McVay, would you want to leave the Rams to come and work for Joe Schoen? No. No, that's
wait.
John McVay almost retired after winning a Super Bowl. No, he's not coming to New York for this shit show. You are going to get some type of either coordinator or Kafka to come and take over this team because it's like I said, unless you give Joe Schoen an extension, he is a lame duck general manager. And I will tell you from experience in multiple leagues, that stuff matters to players and that stuff matters to coaches because then you are one season away from getting fired from your dream job because of the fact that if they bring in another general manager, you may not be their guy. Josh Rosen is still sitting there going, what the fuck happened in Arizona? I was the guy. And all of a sudden I get traded.
You know, Tim, I think you hit the nail on the head. I would take somebody for the McVay tree to be a head coach any day.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Look at the guy from Minnesota, McConnell, whatever his name is, like McVay tree, doing great moves over there in Minnesota. You have to do something like that. I don't know what we do. Like no established head coach will come here. They want too much control. They acquire too much power. They want too much involvement. And like you said, they would not go to Joe Schoen.
Not only that, any coordinator or defensive coordinator that people are going to put on a top 5 list of guys, hey, this is what we want. These are the guys that are going to get interviews. And you can probably make a list right now, but the reality is most of these guys are going to try and seek the best position for them. And they're not going to want to go somewhere and experiment for 2 years and maybe never get a shot to become a head coach in the NFL. You get one chance of this most of the times.
Yeah.
And the guy that I wanted, and it's not going to be popular to people on the show or even Tim, but I actually thought that he had something going, but he just got the wrong quarterback that kind of battled him out, and that was Saleh.
Okay, well, we're going to bring in the philosopher because you went crazy, OGR. OGR evidently went crazy. Philosopher, bring us the logic that we need to understand how you fire the head coach, but keep the general manager, and then say we're going to let him hire another coach because he did such a great job on the first one.
Yeah, this stinks of Joe Schoen's meddling in the situation. What I saw on the ESPN report, and it's the first ESPN report I read when Daboll was fired, it said that at one point Joe Schoen was listening in on the coaching headset. And I thought to myself,
yeah, that was early in the season. Or actually, that was actually last season.
So I got a question for you, Tim, because you got all this experience in the NFL. Have you heard of that before? Because that doesn't sound right to
no.
me.
I have never heard of a general manager piped in to the play calling or just the headset of the head coach. I've never heard of that. Now that was that
2 seasons ago?
that was 2 years ago. That was after the 9-7-1 season.
Yeah,
Because when he was going a little fucking bonkers.
Yeah, so this, I mean, when I saw that, I was like, this stinks of him throwing Daboll under the bus, and I thought they came together. I thought it was a package deal. What happened to the package?
Well, one part of the package was kind of saggy, and he didn't have his Viagra, and so they had to get rid of him. So that's the biggest problem that the package deal was this. It's Joe Schoen's survival. And how you can, and this is the thing that gets me, guys. How do you literally justify this? I mean, we've read the statement a bunch of times. How do you justify this to the fan base? That we got rid of the guy that sucked, but the guy that hired the guy that sucked, we're going to keep.
The only thing I can think of is if they truly think that most of the fan base are idiots because we are voted one of the dumbest fan bases. I guarantee. I mean, that's what they gotta believe.
That's true.
I agree. I think it's another thing too. I think they're hanging their hat on Jackson Dart. They're like, oh, we have this hope for the future, so all we got to do is just build around him, and everything's going to be perfect. But they're not looking at how we got here, because it wasn't one person. It's like, I feel like I'm like taking crazy pills, like Magatu said in Zoolander. It's like, it's crazy.
It is crazy. It literally is, because of the fact that I just don't. And I'm trying to figure it out. I really am trying to figure it out. And I'm looking at Jackson Dart, because everyone was like, as soon as Jackson Dart went out, we were going to lose that game. And I thought to myself over and over again, all those other losses were with Jackson Dart at quarterback. And it's like, you guys are just seeing what you want to see. And to your point, you're like, well, yeah, maybe the Giants, John Mara and Tish, are looking at the Giant fan base, and to OGR's point, we are always voted the dumbest fan base. Maybe he's just saying, you know what, they're not gonna do anything. They're not smart enough to figure this shit out. And to your point,
doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
I always think that way with the Giants. And now just the philosophy of keeping a guy that has put together failed rosters, failed salary cap, failed drafts, failed free agencies, failed trades, and then saying you failed at selecting a head coach, but we're going to give you another shot at it as a lame duck general manager.
Yeah. Well, I got a question for both of y'all, because this is something that's been on my mind since I heard this. Do you think that there's any chance they might fire Joe Schoen if they only win 2 games this year?
No, they've already won 3.
Oh wait, yeah, they did. Holy shit. Oh wait, no, wait, they only have 2, right?
I give them the Raiders game. I'm still giving them the Raiders game.
But I'm just saying, if they stayed at 2, do you think? Fuck.
No, you literally put out a statement, and OGR, correct me if I'm wrong, because you watch a lot of football as well. You literally put out a statement saying we're keeping the general manager. You already look stupid, and we do a good job looking stupid as Giants. But you literally said we're keeping the general manager. You can't go back now and then say, look how dumb we looked when we said we were keeping Joe Judge. And then Judge went fucking crazy. And then all of a sudden they're having pizza parties and we're getting rid of Judge. We look like morons. And then what did we end up with after Joe Judge? That was the best we could get after Joe Judge.
But I mean, we're doing the same thing we've always done. You get rid of one, and then you keep one for another year or 2, and then you get rid of him, and then you start over.
Yeah. You fire the coordinator, which we didn't do this time. Usually we fire the position coach, which we did, and then you fire a coordinator, which we did technically in Wink. Then you fire the head coach, and then you fire the general manager. We do this all the time. It's nothing new.
And then we wonder why we are where we were, 5 years down the road, So
I don't know. It just utterly amazes me. And then it was a happy day. I was having a happy day, and I blame Zach Attack because he sent me that post. So Zach, it's your fault. You ruined my happy day.
So I got a quick question. Did you both of you watch the full game yesterday or no?
Yeah, I did.
I watched most of it.
So it was so funny. Right before Dart went out with the concussion, they were talking about the bash concept in the NFL with the quarterback and the run, design run, and how it's not really used in the NFL because it's a good way to get your quarterback killed.
Yeah.
And it's basically a college/high school play.
Which someone's been saying that for weeks now.
And we're playing backyard football. And yeah, Dart looks okay at times. But, I mean, you're only going to get away with it for so long. And the Giants found out how long they're going to get away with it for, unfortunately for the kid.
And to the point, this is also a kid, we've shown the charts, that doesn't throw between -2 and 8 yards. And all of his throws that are deeper, we saw in the one game he was 3 for 8. The other game he was 2 for 7 when he was throwing over 20 yards. This is a kid that doesn't have accuracy over a period of time. And then when he goes deep, he either throws it extremely short or he overthrows it. He's got no touch. He's got no fluidity. He's got no feel outside of the OGR point. And I've said it before, playing backyard football.
Well, what doesn't make sense to me is because I for sure watched the first half and he was throwing the ball all over the field. He had like 200 passing yards, I think, in the first half. But then after that,
Chicago doesn't have a good secondary.
right?
Yeah.
But that's my point. Is if he's throwing for 200 yards in the first half, why in the hell are you running him with a touchdown and a what is it, like a 10-point lead?
Because I will tell you exactly why, especially in the NFL. Smart coordinators adjust. It's like when the Giants utilize the tight end so much early on, and then people are like, they just stopped utilizing the tight end. No, the defensive coordinator said, we are taking that play away. We understand now that you are running X, so I am going to take X away. So the Giants now have to come up with Y. And that's it. It's the same thing. The defensive coordinator and Ben Johnson went into the second half and said, okay, he is doing this. This is what we stopped doing since Coughlin. We don't go in and make halftime adjustments. Parcells was the mastermind at making halftime adjustments. And that's what these teams are doing. They are looking at what they are watching. This is why I'm scared for Jackson Dart next year. They are watching what Jackson Dart does well in the first half, what he likes to run. And then they're saying in the second half, we're not going to allow that anymore. That's why he gets all of his yardage early. And then he gets all of his yardage late after they're going prevent because they already have the win, or they now know, okay, we are going to take away the plays that he likes. And they're going to force him to do things like throw from the pocket where he's not comfortable. So your next option to OGR point is to basically run the high school offense and run your quarterback and get your quarterback killed.
I mean, I just can't believe that's ever an option with like if you just got the dude in the draft a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And he's the only bright spot besides Scatterbo, and that might be it for the whole season.
No, actually, Andrew Thomas has
been playing great.
He has been playing great.
I did like what they were doing with him yesterday, moving him around the formation.
Mm-hmm.
Which I hope they play with that more.
Yeah.
But the other thing is too, I mean, I don't know. Next year is scary as hell because I just Joe Schoen, even with a lame duck head coach and a lame duck, he's just gonna destroy this team. He's gonna do what Dave Gettleman did, and the next GM is just gonna be automatically put in a hole unless Jackson Dart develops into something that we.
That is why I'm saying it. I'm gonna say it again. He is getting a 2-year extension.
Oh, he is absolutely. You're 100% right. I'm not going to disagree with you at all. He's going to get a 2-year extension because he's going to need a reason, to keep going, basically. Because if they're just like, hey, you're year to year, maybe Shane would step away at that point, but maybe they don't.
Yeah. And I did say Tom Coughlin. I just had my voice was cracking today because I wasn't expecting to do a live stream today. And I just did in 4 hours of the new Fuck Your Sensitivity, the Mad Ramblings of a Gen Xer before I came on and did this.
So quick question. If you're, say you step into the shoes of Mike Kafka today, how the hell do you fix the mess that you step into?
You can't. You literally can't. This mess is here's the thing and this is what befuddles me with Giant fans. Not really, because to OGR's point, we always get voted the stupidest fan base. Your offensive philosophy is not all of a sudden going to change, because the guy that's been running your offense is now your head coach. So everything that you have already done, you are going to continue to do. It's not like you fired the defensive coordinator and brought in some guy that's going to run a completely different defense. No. Your head coach is the guy that's been running your plays, so you're running the same offense. Nothing's going to change. There's not going to be all of a sudden this acrimonious. You had the acrimonious split, but now you're not all of a sudden going to be just like, hey, look at us, we're going to do all these different things. No. You've been running the same offense for 8, 9, 10 weeks. You're not
Well,
going
do
to
you think that
do anything different?
You think the interim coach has the power to fire coordinators, or do they? No. Okay.
No. That's why Shane Bowen's still here. That's why the rest of the staff, he's got no power. He is not He-Man. He's got no power. This is almost like when Steve Spagnuolo took over when they fired the doo-doo. But my concern is Shane likes the continuity of Mike Kafka, and he likes the fact that Mike Kafka is this quiet yes man that he can install as a head coach without going out and getting a big name with a big ego and who's going to have his own thought process like a Mike McCarthy. He's got a guy he can control in Mike Kafka. Most
dictators fall because of their own hubris.
You're right. 100%. Wrong channel, but 100%.
Well, I'm calling Joe Shane a dictators.
I know you are. That's what I said. Wrong channel, but you're right. 100%. Texting and driving. Don't text and drive over your knockout. What are we at here? I don't know what we're at here. I don't know what we're doing anymore. I lost my mind.
Time is it?
I don't even know. 86 likes. That's good. 86 likes is good. Oh, Slider. Where's Slider? Slider, call the ball, but you have no Slider. Okay, well, Slider, you look a little different. Hey, there you are.
Hey, what up?
We haven't seen you in person in a while. Where the hell?
I know.
are you?
I've been busy.
Oh, I know. I got a job. I got to work.
Super
I got
busy.
things to do. You don't see me complaining about any of that. I'm here.
I know. Oh, and I've been trying to come on.
And again, you're cutting out, man. Come on, give us. I brought you on because I need the Slider. I need the Slider to come in here
and I wanted to come on.
Give us something good. I don't know if that's just a secure or he just not listening. No. He's going to delay on the internet.
Well, only thing I can think of is the good thing is Daboll's gone, but
all right, Slider, you're gonna have to try. You're gonna have to try to call back in again. You have been frozen for a few minutes now. So we're gonna have to see if Slider calls back in. OGR.
Yeah.
OGR's point. I don't even know what fucking time it is.
I need to know what time it is. As long as it's not
It is 4:33 in the PM.
All right, good. We're good.
Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna stay on much longer because I got shit to do.
Yeah, I got shit to do too. But I don't know. To your point, it's just this is a completely messed up situation, and what I can't get over is the fact that we have people that do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. I mean, our ownership is insane. Like they are the definition, and to be a professional organization and do things the same way, you just don't pay attention to the outcome of your own decisions. It's maddening. I could imagine going through your daily life and doing that.
I have to admit, I don't understand how you guys are Giant fans. You know, being a Packer fan, I don't get it.
Hey, with that green, if you didn't have the logo there, I'd be convinced.
I almost wore a Packer jersey today. I actually had a Packer jersey on today, and I changed it because I got excited, and then Zach Attack fucked it up by saying what he said and sending me that about Joe Schoen. I'm now watching Twitter, and you have some people on Twitter that do not think this is a bad idea.
They don't, because again, voted the dumbest fan base because they don't realize the decisions. They believe in continuity. They believe in it. They think this is the giant way.
It is a giant way being stupid. You're right.
Oh yeah, but I mean, it is in our history. I mean, even before this, even though I'd argue this is probably the lowest point in Giants history, back when we hired George Young, which the NFL gave us to us, which you've, proven that to me time and time again. Harken back then, that was considered the low point of the Giants then.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because the NFL is not going to come in and save the Giants. They don't care if the Giants are relevant.
No, they don't. And that's the point. People are like, well, they want the Giants to be relevant because it's the market. No, that's gone by the wayside. There is no longer this thing where people are like, well, it's the New York market. You have to have a good team. No, there is just so much going on now in different places because of the internet. You don't have to have a good team in New York anymore.
No, you don't. Because
it's no longer a prerequisite.
To your point, you have social media. You have other ways. If I'm in Connecticut and I'm a San Francisco 49er fan, if I want to, I can watch the San Francisco 49ers every week. Where, late 90s, early 2000s, that really wasn't possible.
Right. So. Exactly. I don't think I do think it's a mistake to keep Joe Schoen. Yes, 100%.
Yeah. It's not even a question. I mean, I said it before. He's done a worse job to me than Brian Daboll. I mean, to me, it's splitting hairs. I mean, you could argue either way, but to me, I mean, he gave rancid groceries to Brian Daboll, but it's not like Brian Daboll could make a good decision to save his life. So.
I mean, it's just I don't know anymore, guys. I don't know anymore, guys, whatsoever.
And you know what? After this, even though you had messaged me earlier today, I don't blame you at all for being like, yeah, after January, after Super Bowl, yep, I'm gone.
I had to. He had to rewrite it. Breath of fresh air, Tim. People really believe this was a dumb move. Yeah, some people do. Some people do. But to your point, OGR, I was excited with the possibility of staying because I thought it was going to be a clean slate. I thought it was going to be a clean sweep. Very excited about that. And then to find out that they are keeping Joe Schoen, all that euphoria has literally just dropped out of me. I'm back to the point where I'm just like, no, I'm done.
And you want to know the sick thing about it is he could potentially have the number 1 pick in the draft.
Yeah. And he did such a great job with Abdul Carter.
Like you're giving him a higher pick. And to me, right now, I think we desperately need corner help. And, and I hate to be talking about the draft in November, but it's a common Giant theme. I would love to see corner help. And
we need corner help. We need wide receiver help. We need defensive line help. We need linebacker help. We need safety help.
If you have the number 1 pick, you could go get some nice groceries because there are going to be quarterback needy teams that are going to want to come up and get. I guarantee he could screw up a wet dream.
Yeah. Joe Schoen, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
February 9th. It's official as of today, unless they fire Joe Schoen. February 9th is the last show. February 9th, 2026 is the last show. I think we're going to do it like 7:00 on Monday. So that is going to be the last show that we're doing. So make sure everyone write that in your calendar because, and no, Stanley, I do not want to hire Antonio Pierce.
I can't attend that show.
Huh?
I can't attend that show.
Why can't you attend that show? Well, I'm not changing my retirement date.
I don't blame you. It's your retirement. It's your channel. You decide.
You could pre-record a message and send it in. because I was actually putting together a big final show with guests and giveaways. And it was funny because I've been building it the last couple weeks. And then this news came down the pike, and I was like, wait a minute. And this was today. I was like, wait a minute. Okay, hold on. You get ready. Shane's got to be next. And then this came down the pike, and I'm like, nope, February 9th. We're back on putting everything together to get us to quit.
And it's so funny because I follow certain people on X, and the notifications pop up on my phone, and there's just some idiot takes out there. Like any coach with any sort of gusto or any sort of, even a previous head coach or whatever, if he's a lame duck GM, why would you sit there and Mike McCarthy or put in extra Mike Tomlin or LaFleur? Like, no, these guys want success. You don't have success with Joe Schoen.
Nope. I mean, it's idiocy at its finest. I want to thank the 240 something people that are still hanging out here listening to us. I am actually kind of tired today, so I'm going to adios a little bit early because I also have to cook dinner. And this literally, like I said, the joy literally zapped me within 15 minutes into the stream.
And you know what? It's a fitting day because when I woke up, it was a dreary, rainy day. I drove home from work. It was a dreary, rainy day. And guess what?
It's still
when I go and take my kid to practice, it's going to be a dreary, rainy day. So fitting.
I hear you, brother. Nat. OJ, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to say goodbye to everyone. I appreciate you stopping by and coming on as always. And you're always welcome. But that was the Venerable OGR Sports. All right, guys. I am going to head out. Sorry, Tim Adu, my audio was bad. No, you kept freezing, man. You got to come on next Sunday. Prepared to come on Sunday. No, I'm not going to be here Sunday because I'm going to be at the Packer game. I'm doing a flag ceremony. Yeah, guys, we're going to end this. Not early. It's already 2 hours, but we're going to head out. We may do I think we'll do a live stream tomorrow at 3:00 again. How about that? We'll do a live stream tomorrow at 3. And we'll talk about who the Giant next head coach is going to be. I appreciate everyone, the 246 people that are still hanging in there. Like, subscribe, blah, 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 all that stuff, guys. And we'll see you tomorrow. We'll catch on this party tomorrow.